Where?
Dining room.
He was already wandering off somewhere else, but I didn't care. I was already walking the moment he'd finished speaking. As I wandered in, the room was silent. The others were there and seemed a mix of between rattled and in shock. Dean seemed to be asleep, his eyes not closed all the way, and an axe by his side. For what it was worth, it still looked clean. They didn't even acknowledge when I'd sat down, each of them distracted by one thing or another. Roswell seemed to have found a fire extinguisher and kept checking that it was still there, rattled every time his eyes were off it. Haas just seemed demoralized. His eyes were puffy and red. His fur seemed to stick at odd angles in his face from where he'd been crying. It seemed as though the faintest sound would set him off again. He lost his best friend.
Ooh.
Sal just looked tired, his eyes boring through the table as if it weren't there, looking someplace far away to where things might be nicer. I breathed in, preparing myself to say something, and for a moment I had everyone's attention. But when I sighed and slumped in the chair, everyone went back to how they were. We sat like that for a while before I heard the shuffling of footsteps approaching. Hoping for a miracle, I looked up, hoping that things weren't as bad as they seemed. But it was just Benson, and my memories of what happened made me stand and stare him down. He looked at me briefly, then hanged his head in shame, saying nothing. At least at first, and I watched as he sat down in the vacant chair closest to the door.
It's now just those of us at the table remaining.
He was stiff, seemingly not wanting to look me in the eye. Nope.
What?
Yeah, it's auto-proceeding, which is because it's trying to do an
I have retrieved
interruption.
Orlando and Tyson, and...
No! It's a struggle to Let's Play when the games do the thing where they interrupt themselves, but at the speed that the text populates. I stood suddenly, slamming the table. You don't get to see his name. You don't get to say his name. Not after what you did. He turned to look at me, eyes widening slightly and holding eye contact. Murderer? They're doing it again.
Please, I was only trying.
Shut up. Orlando's gone, and you killed the only person that could have explained what happened. It might not have even been him, but you killed him anyway. I was breathing heavily and stomped over to Benson, grabbing him by the collar of his shirt as he stayed sitting. Was it not good enough that you got Oswin killed? That you had to go and make my life shitty by killing Ty? Damn. My grip on him tightened. You were meant to keep us safe. What good even are you?
Dave, enough.
No, he killed Tyson. I looked past Haas and Roswell, who was nodding slowly. To Roswell.
Yes, I agree with Dave.
Whatever, dude.
He'd moved to cradle the extinguisher as if it was his lifeline.
Leave Benson alone. There's got to be an explanation. There is! It was a threat. He dealt with a threat.
Yeah. Tell that to Tyson. I turned on Haas now, fists clenched. Only one left now that has any idea what could have happened is a talking rat.
At least that's something, right?
Thanatos won't help us. He's got his own agenda.
But we've got to try. What's going to happen to us now?
Might I?
No. I don't trust you, and Haas placed his hand on my shoulder, and I found myself calming down from what I was about to say, guilt tainting my resolve.
You want him dead.
I jolted as Roswell spoke, barely above a whisper, but I heard him in the relative silence of the room.
It makes sense to me, that's all.
I watched as slowly Benson turned to Roswell, then back to me.
He killed someone you loved without giving them a chance, in front of you no less. It must feel awful.
Roswell, cut it out. He doesn't need this right now.
Haas had me by the shoulders and sat me down away from Benson, shaking.
We need to find that rat and get more answers out of him. Just a name isn't gonna cut it, but that's all he gave us last night when Dave went running off.
Don't bother, I'm here.
I thought you left.
Not when everyone else is here. Figured I'd stick around.
He climbed up the table to stand atop it, looking around.
You all look terrible.
Are you going to help us now?
What do you expect me to do?
I slumped, looking at the table much in the way the others seemed to have their heads hung. Nothing. Nothing at all.
That's better. Only thing left is to take stock of what's gonna happen next.
Oh, the rat is back.
Yeah, rise and shine.
Dean looked around the table and rubbed his eyes, picking the axe back up. Everyone's here, too.
Yeah, good job.
Why do you have an axe? Been up all night keeping watch. After putting you to bed, I figured it'd help having someone looking out.
Even after I said he wasn't gonna get any visitors during the night, no less.
What happens next?
Going to need a little more than that.
What happens over the coming days now that some of us are dead?
Just a moment.
Thanatos seemed to stare off into space, eyes flickering before turning back to Roswell.
Nothing good.
Nothing specific?
Hold on, why are you being helpful right now? Where was this when Orlando's life was on the line?
Back then, the experiment wasn't about to fail.
That's all you care about right now? Some experiment?
Can't experiment if all the subjects have died.
So, no specifics. We'll get how you know after.
We're going to have a visitor soon. A wild variable I can't calculate given how many branches happen off that one interaction. A
Who's
little
the
arbitrary.
visitor? Is it help?
Is it the rabbit?
I felt a chill run down my spine at the mention of Jack. I stared at Thanatos as he turned to face me.
No, it's not Jack. It's someone else. Someone highly variable.
Is that good or bad?
What part of variable do you not get? I could spend the whole day explaining every way that encounter would go, and that alone would change what to expect. You see, I don't buy that because they're not asking how the outcome, like what the outcome is going to be. They're saying, who is it? You can just say who it is, and then we can figure it out. Like,
yeah, and there just are
what the
people
fuck?
that seem to have good and bad responses. Like,
yeah.
if the Dragon Mafia shows up, it's probably a highly variable series of bad outcomes. And
but it lets us know at least that it's the fucking Dragon Mafia. Yeah.
Whereas there are people that might be more helpful, but are just chaotic in nature or something, but not like going to shoot everyone. Does anyone die?
Again, variable. At the rate we're going, yeah, at least one.
Besides Roswell? And there's nothing we can do? How certain are you? He's the vault. He's seen this before. What? Roswell drummed lightly on his extinguisher, nodding slowly.
Robotic, can't talk, lingering around Dave.
Junior has it right. I've seen this all before, more times than you can count.
So it's real then, that you can see the future.
The past, you can see the past, just like,
He hugged his extinguisher, looking over to me, worried. A lot of good it did me this time. I got up and started to walk away, glowering at Benson as I walked past.
Where are you going?
I don't know. I'll come too. We don't know what's going to happen yet. I just want to be alone. I didn't bother waiting, just shoving my hands in my pockets and kept walking. I'd taken the same turns Thanatos had told me only a couple days ago and ended up at the middle of the maze, surrounded by green walls, so he does have it memorized. It was quiet here. I could feel the heavy beating of my heart in my chest, feel the dull ache left there after the night before. The moment I collapsed on the bench here, I cried, hugging my chest and quietly sobbing as I just let the tears flow. I was
Look at
scared.
this crying little piss baby. Look at this crying little sad little piss baby. Wow. Wow, so sad. What a weenie, huh?
Jesus Christ. What, all your friends die, you baby?
Yeah, what a little crybaby.
No.
You gonna cry about it, Dave. Wow.
No.
This is just where I've lost all empathy, and now I'm just losing my mind.
Oh. I was scared, tired, upset, betrayed, and any number of the other feelings that were seemingly hitting me at once. But most importantly, two of my friends were gone. I remembered how Ty used to tug at his fur when stressed, and I was already doing the same, murmuring under my breath for him to come back. Just as well I hadn't eaten, otherwise I probably would have puked again from nausea. Roswell quietly came and sat next to me, his fire extinguisher notably not with him. What are you doing?
Nothing.
Real convincing.
The crack in his voice set him off, and soon he was sobbing too. Less quiet than I was, but nowhere near loud enough to potentially clue the others where we were.
This shouldn't be happening. It was a vacation, and now you're...
It wasn't a vacation, dude. You knew you were gonna die probably on the fucking vacation. What the fuck?
Yeah, but it was meant to be his semi-selfish, one last hurrah, good vacation with his friends where he then drops the bomb that he's going to die. But it wasn't supposed to, they weren't supposed to be on the menu.
Sure, but what I'm saying is this was going to be a tragedy no matter what, Roswell. You were literally going to die in front of your friends. What the fuck?
Yeah, but he wanted to selfishly enjoy it first.
It's also very clear. I mean, selfishly enjoyed it. He just went 20 days. We know he's going to die pretty soon. What? Is that 6 more days? It's still going to be bad. And the point is that also Roswell seems to know more about everything that's going on. Like this little thing has revealed that he seems to have been putting things together. So he knew full well this shit was going to happen. What?
I'm not sure. I don't know what he knows about the vault exactly. But I do wonder why he would come here if he genuinely wanted to have a fun vacation with his friends, why he would go to the creepy vault mansion if he knew anything about the vault, because that would be concerning. But it's been a long enough thread that it's genuinely hard to remember what information he might have been introduced to over the course of this trip, and which of it's still canon after going back in time and so on. So I don't know.
For sure.
It's very hard to keep track of what characters know in a time travel story. I turned to look at him, wiping my nose as he struggled to get the words out. You should stop talking.
What?
You're only going to make it worse. It's better to just... I don't know.
But I can't just leave this bottled up. What are we gonna do?
I wanted to say something and then found the words catching in my throat, instead coming out as a strange grimace.
The road is no good. 3 people are dead, plus the rabbit and whoever else in the woods. We can't even call for help.
So we die?
Well, I don't know what I have much longer left. I don't know that I have much longer left.
I looked at him carefully, eyes narrowing in suspicion.
I was going to tell everyone tomorrow. I was going to tell everyone so there wasn't any surprises, but...
What did you do?
That is a surprise. You were going to tell them a surprise and surprise them.
Yeah.
We all responded surprised to that, Roswell.
Yeah,
what did you think would happen? It
became the narrative the entire day. What did you do? I was accusing him of something based on my tone, but I didn't know what. He didn't seem to pick up on it regardless.
Dave, I'm dying. This vacation... This whole thing was meant to be a big final farewell, a nice thing to remember before I...
He left it there, and my frown softened as I realized he wasn't joking. You're serious? Nodding slowly, he wiped his face, but the tears seemed to keep coming. I don't believe you.
I'm sorry, Dave, but it's happening.
This has to be some cruel joke. You mean to tell me you're just going to keel over and die in a week? And that it's meant to be okay? I stood up, raising my voice. Where's this even coming from? You're fine. You were sick earlier, but that's because you went out into the woods. You're not dying. He stood now, playing with his hands.
I'm sorry.
His eyes dropped away from mine and stayed that way.
I didn't mean to. I needed to tell you, just not like this.
Maybe I was channeling Tyson, or maybe it was just because I was so scared and angry that I lashed out. I grabbed him by the shirt and forced him to look at me, if only for a second. Shut up. I don't want to hear it. I was fighting between growling and breaking down again. Maybe not cry, but I assumed that I had little tears left to shed right now. Just don't. Another example of just don't include the second sentence. It's him thinking about how his tear volume is just not It doesn't help the scene. When he put a hand on mine, I trembled. When his other found my chest, I broke, collapsing back onto the bench as I let go.
I might be more, it might be less, but
A week?
yeah.
I was gonna say, I don't think that he said how long he's gonna live, did he?
He said in the other one that like it was probably gonna be by the end of the vacation.
I mean here. I don't think he said how long he had to live, which is weird that Dave was like, how can you just drop on me that you're gonna die in a week? And I'm like, I don't think Roswell said that yet. And like now they're saying
I guess
how long
he did
has to
say
live.
like this vacation was supposed to be the last thing, so the implication is like maybe he was gonna go out on it, but yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I was just like I was questioning when Dave said they just drop on me that you're gonna die in a week. I was like quietly questioning. I'm like, does he know that? Does he actually know that yet? I looked upwards. The sky seemed too happy for what was going on, sunny and bright, whereas I just wanted to find a corner to crawl into and be alone in the dark.
Is there anything I can say or do?
Yeah, like I don't know, nothing, and then walk into the sea. That would be good.
For a brief moment, I considered it. For the briefest moment, I considered asking to be with Dad and Ty, and it hurt my chest to think about it. I could see Orlando there too, I bet. My voice went hollow again, and I slumped, staring. What's going to happen to us?
I don't know.
Can we leave?
Do you think that's safe?
Part of me doesn't care anymore. What else have I got to lose? It was heartless for me to say, but I wasn't in the right headspace to filter myself. Why did you come out here anyway? How did you know where to find me?
Thanatos.
Figures.
I don't think he was worried about you. Not like I was, anyway.
He's a machine. How could he be? He said it himself that he can't feel emotions.
You don't think so?
I know so. If he did, he'd at least know sympathy, right? That he'd have done something to stop Orlando dying. That he'd have saved Tyson from whatever happened. That he just, I don't know.
I think he might feel emotions, right?
Based on what?
Just talking. All emotions are just instincts based on knowledge and memories. They're all simulated anyway.
My love for my friends isn't simulated. This pain I feel for never being able to see Orlando smile again or be annoyed by Ty isn't simulated.
That's not what I meant.
Well, even if he could feel emotions, it's not like he wants to help me anyway. I'm done helping him with whatever this experiment is now. Roswell went to say something but stopped, shaking his head. He remained quiet, playing with his hands. What?
Nothing. I don't think I can argue that point.
I grunted and Roswell got up, hugging himself briefly.
I'm going to head back inside.
Okay? He seemed to expect more than that, but he wasn't getting it. He just turned on heel and left. I lay down on the bench and closed my eyes. Hit with a familiar kind of tiredness, I breathed out and just let my body turn off. At least so I could rest somewhat. But as my vision went from black to something more familiar, I knew I wasn't going to be resting. I could hold it off as best I could, laying there on my bed at home, not looking towards the door of my bedroom because the moment I did, I knew I'd see someone there, standing there.
Look at me, son.
The tone was the one he used when I was upset, or mostly just disappointed. In the corner of my vision, I saw him sit down, but I didn't look at him.
Dave, come on, sport.
I turned to look at him and thought I'd cry again, but nothing came.
There you are, you had me worried.
You're not here.
Dave,
Tyson is dead.
Oh, well.
You're dead too.
What did you want me to say, son?
I want you to leave me alone. I can't do this anymore.
Giving up?
Yeah, I'm giving up.
That's not the boy I raised. Buck up, we can fix this.
How? No response came. How could it? This was just me dreaming, and there wasn't a way that this dream version of my dad should know something I didn't. See? There's no fixing this.
I'm sorry, Dave.
Just, if I die, will you be there for me? You'll come grab me, right?
You're not dying.
I'm just saying, what if?
I'll try.
You'll take me to find Tyson?
You never know. Maybe he'll come to get you and take you to me.
Maybe.
Can I get you anything?
No, I don't want anything you can get me.
Did you want to be left alone?
Yes, please. As I looked away, I lost sight of him. I glanced back and he was gone, as if he was never there to begin with. I found myself laying on grass suddenly, beside a familiar grave marker. Here lies David Halloway. I'd fallen asleep here more than once, but I knew the person that normally collected me from here wasn't coming. Who knows where he'd even be buried now, or what to do once we got home. I sat up and stared at the familiar grave, then down at the soil in front of it, where I knew somewhere deep down my dad was put to rest. Getting up, I looked around the empty graveyard. It was just me and rows of countless graves, all marked with various styles of marker. It felt lonely despite being filled with people, but even then. I'll be here too one day, huh? As if on cue, the grave next to my dad's became empty, dug out and waiting for a casket to be lowered inside. I stepped closer, looking down in the pit, and found the longer I stared, the deeper it seemed to become. All it would take is one step, and I'd fall. Then everything went dark. It went cold next. Opening my eyes, suddenly I was pressed up against a wall, looking over a much of machinery. Huh? Maybe bunch, but there's like more letters wrong than normal to make it bunch.
Yeah.
So I'm like, hang on a minute. I knew where I was, and I didn't want to be here. I stood still, listening over for anything that might hint at someone being around, but that distinctive laugh made my blood go cold. Fuck, who is Jack?
Yeah, I don't know who this character is. I've forgotten already.
Hi, Dave.
No, you're not real. You're not here.
Now that's just mean. You don't know anything about me. I could be real.
You're not.
How sure are you of that? Would have been nice and easy to explain if you'd seen me kill your friends. Would have been real easy to point at me and then know who to be angry at, huh?
You...
On the plus side, at least you know Benson can't be trusted now.
He can't be trusted.
Right. Killing Tyson in front of you like that. Your brother would never hurt you, would he?
Not like that. No, he wouldn't.
See? Maybe you should kill Benson before he does something bad to someone else you care about.
I couldn't. Could I?
Why not? It's easy.
I looked down and found a gun in my hand. Heavy. And my hand shook as I tried to raise it.
Or maybe a knife.
Batman should just kill the Joker. If you had a gun and Jack was right here, you should just shoot him. Like, this is one of those situations where it just literally does solve the problem, and he is threatening your life. Like, come on, dude.
I think like the entirety of the Injustice universe or something is supposed to be like an interrogation of like, what if Joker actually did just get murdered? Like, oh, it's a bad ending. We're all those heroes are corrupted now or something. But I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't think it really works that way. Honest, like,
Injustice,
when you look at the full canonical lineage of what Joker has done in any of the various universes, like, and the fact that he just keeps getting right back out of Gotham, I'm like, no, you probably do need to just kill him at some point before he skins someone again. Like, did the Joker skin someone, or was that Bullseye?
Lots of characters have done that.
Or maybe a knife. Sure, you could do wonders with one of those, huh?
Ever wonder how I got these scars? It became a knife. Easier to hold, but all I did was look at it again. That's not what it said, but it's fine.
There you go. Nice and easy like.
Jack made a few stabbing motions, and I found myself vaguely doing the same thing.
That would not make you feel better.
Dad?
I raised you better than that.
The knife in my hand became my flashlight. Although, turning it on seemed to do little. We finally have a flashlight.
This kind of like moral grandstanding stuff, like no killing in any circumstance ideology, especially in like a murder game, just always rings so hollow to me. It's like one of my least favorite writing tropes. Because it's like, I raised you better than that. You're gonna go against your ideals, and you're gonna be just be a good person who always believes in rehabilitation at all times for everyone, including this man who's a mass murderer who wants to kill you and his friends for an unhinged reason. It's like, all right, well, you know what?
It would make sense.
Go over it.
The argument would make more sense if that's what the scene was about, but it's somewhat bafflingly about whether or not he should murder Benson.
Yes, yes, it is.
Because Jack and Dad are both not real. And him killing
it
Benson
is ultimately
is like, what? Wait.
Yeah.
This doesn't make that much sense.
It is ultimately about Benson, but that's the other thing, is that it ultimately feels even weirder because Benson, like, out of all of the reasons to shoot someone justifiably, attacking them in self-defense as they're standing over a bloody body of someone that they seemingly murdered for no reason in a circumstance where there is no way to get like otherwise outside judiciary, like you're in extreme circumstances. Benson's choice was like not the worst possible choice in that circumstance.
Like, it's understandable that it's understandable for Dave to be distraught and to blame him and so on for a variety of reasons, but him genuinely being driven to the point where he's like, I'm going to kill Benson now on any level is just like, hang on a minute, I don't think this is the character that we've been playing so far. I don't think you can sell the idea that Dave would even be considering the idea of like stabbing Benson to death because he killed Tyson while he was over Orlando's shredded corpse. Like that's a bit of a wild place to land.
Don't listen to him. He's dead. Me, on the other hand, am very much alive. Me am alive.
Sorry, I just had to process the grammar of that one.
You're also just a dream.
That makes two of us, you know. Your words are as empty as your soul.
Your words have just as much weight as mine. Please, stop. No more.
Dave, listen to me. I need you to do something for me.
What?
Wake up.
Grab your brush and put a little makeup. I sat up suddenly and shivered. The air was cold and things were dark. I have no idea how long I'd been asleep, but it seemed late. On some level, I was kind of hoping that Dave would snap and try to kill Benson. Mainly because I figured Benson would then kill Dave, because he's an assassin.
Yeah.
But that's part of my just my lingering fear of like, oh god, how long is the werewolf ending? Like, we got to like, there's usually in the past there was you have the bad end where someone dies, then you have a time skip to an epilogue that resolves it. So I thought we would time skip to the resolution of whatever happened to Dave. Be it like, day 25, the mafia kicks down the door and guns blazing. Oh no, if only Tyson was here, maybe we'd have survived this scene or something. But we're actually doing a blow by blow to the point where it's even like it's willing to spoil Roswell's impending death in this alternate route instead of the actual scene, which would make that other scene even weirder if he drops it in this context and we only like half address it, but now we just know already for the other timeline. I'm worried about how much they might have written for this ending, which is not usually how the bad ends go. Good morning. Dean was sitting on the edge of the fountain, axe sitting beside him. He looked as tired as I remembered from earlier in the day, and eyed him warily. What happened? I only just gotten here. Seems like you've been asleep. All day? Dean shrugged. I'm just happy you're accounted for now. I was getting worried. Roswell didn't tell us where you were. Oh. Don't worry. I know. Are you mad? It stings, but I'll get over it. Other things are more important now. Are they talking about the breakup still? He rolled his shoulders, double-checking that the axe was still by his side. He's grieving pretty hard over Orlando. So, as his friend, I went to check up on you. Dean picked up the axe and lazily held it as he wandered over, offering me his other hand to help me up. Come on, let's get you inside. When I didn't take his hand immediately, he put a hand on my shoulder and recoiled. You're cold. I'll be okay. Not offering this time, instead taking my hand, he pulled me up. Can't have you catching a cold. We all have seconds to live. The walk back inside was quiet, and the moment I crossed the threshold, I breathed out at the warm house. I hadn't realized just how cold it had been outside, how made worse by the fact I hadn't worn many layers. I could feel Dean watching me carefully as I wandered further into the foyer and looking around with a frown. I hate this house. You're not alone there. What time is it? Were you hungry? No. No one else was either. Dinner was basically skipped. I think I just need to wander the house a bit. You sure that's a good idea? What's the alternative? Go to bed? I suppose you have slept more than anyone else has today. I just want to think, that's all. I'll be right here then. If you get into trouble, just let me know. He really is just wandering with an axe continuously. Huh. I don't think that's gonna defend him from the Dragon Mafia, but I guess he doesn't know about the drive-by dentings.